Welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be sharing my unpopular K-pop opinions. Reminder that these are just my personal opinions, you can disagree but keep it respectful. Let's get into it. 1. aespa is no longer that experimental. aespa's fandom need to drop the argument that aespa's music is so experimental and outside the box, and that's why people don't like aespa's recent music. What about WDA Rich Man, Dirty Work, or even Whiplash is experimental? aespa's last truly experimental era was Supernova, so can we stop using the excuse that people dislike aespa's current music because it is too outside the box? If the general public likes songs such as Savage, Next Level, Girls, and Supernova, in what world is WDA too experimental for them? Let's be for real. Maybe the music videos and the concept photos are, but the songs themselves are not. And I am not saying they are basic pop songs, but the group is now just releasing more visually impressive girl crush, hip-hop and electropop music with a typical, I'm an untouchable baddie lyrics that any other girl group can do, has done, and is currently doing because that sound is trending. I will give credit where credit is due. Their concept, lore, and music videos are mostly creative, and they do the girl crush concept better than anyone else out right now. However, the actual music itself, without all the visuals, is not that experimental and does not challenge any norms. Even Les Seraphim Celebration was more experimental than WDA. 2. Katseye isn't ready for an arena tour. They just toured last year and had to do absolutely everything to fill up time, including performing Dream Academy songs, the Monster High theme song, the Gap Ad choreography OSTs, and what was at the time an unreleased track, Internet Girl. Even with all of that filler, the concert barely reached an hour and a half. They still do not have a full album. They only have 2 EPs and an upcoming 3rd EP with 5 songs, one of which has already been released. I wouldn't be shocked if they ended up performing their State Farm commercial choreography because their discography still isn't long enough to sustain a tour. You already know they are going to reuse the same tired dance breaks from a year or two ago. Every single song is going to have a dance break just to fill up the runtime. This tour is just a money grab. The label is trying to fill their pockets before they inevitably have to address the elephant in the room regarding Manon. That is exactly why they announced the EP 5 months in advance and booked the tour before the EP even came out. They are banking on people spending money in hopes that Manon will make a special appearance. Additionally, the members are visibly overworked. During their Latam tour, members were injured and getting only 2 hours of sleep. Yet they are about to release an EP that they will promote heavily like a full album, only to go on tour the following month. Icons are not going to care until one of the girls collapses on stage. Hybex Jeffen keeps making dumb decision after dumb decision. 3 years into their career with no full album, katseye isn't beating the fast fashion of music group allegations. 3. aespa has no musical sense. aespa has terrible music taste. The fact that they found Supernova too weird and didn't understand the hype, but fought tooth and nail for the release of Dirty Work and WDA, and then on top of that featuring G-Dragon of all people, made me realize that it's better for SM to pick the songs. While there are some groups who are better at picking quality songs than their company, there are also groups like aespa that probably would have tanked if SM Entertainment let them have too much creative control. No shade, because if it were up to them we probably wouldn't have gotten Supernova. But we still would have gotten Dirty Work and WDA, which is crazy because those songs are so mid in comparison. And don't get me wrong, I will always fight for artists to have creative control over their music and artistic direction. But I can also admit that sometimes it is better for companies to have a big hand in things too. 2 things can be true at once, and aespa don't know what makes a hit. And I didn't even touch on the leaked solo music Giselle created, which is a whole other discussion and further proves my point. For Saint Satine, isn't it? For one, the group name is wonky, it just does not give off the vibe of a top, high-charting girl group. They are from Hybe, so obviously I know they are not going to completely flop, but the company could have just left their name as Prelude, which they were already known as. Changing the name after promoting them for months as Prelude is just a dumb move. At the very least, they could have changed it to something better than Saint Satine. Which doesn't Hybe also have a Latin boy group called Santo Bravos? Now they have 2 groups with Saint in the name. Furthermore, I didn't watch the survival show, but from the videos I have seen, Sakura was only chosen because of her young age and her visuals, so now Samurai is the only one who can decently sing, meaning she is going to be solely carrying the vocal load. Lexi's position is questionable. She is being forced into a lead vocalist position because she is technically the 2nd best vocalist, even though she is struggling herself. Emily was only added because of her dancing skills, and Emily and Sakura are the exact stereotype of companies making members the designated rappers purely because they cannot hold a note, but apart from that their music actually sounds promising though. They have the exact opposite problem of katseye. Katseye is very talented, but their music doesn't showcase it. Saint Satine is given good songs, but they do not have the skills to do them justice. The Party B for the Party demo is so good, but the members' voices are also high-pitched and kids pop-esque, and because only one member can really sing, they ruin the good song they were given, and I can see this become a consistent problem in the future. To make it worse, Hybe producers have a tendency to strip all the flavor out of a song, leaving it plain and watered down, which ruined the studio version even more for me. It didn't help that during their debut performance, everybody sounded completely out of breath only seconds into the song. The choreography is demanding for no reason, and only serves to showcase Emily. I am not impressed. Ayana's vocals were desperately needed to balance everything out. Their re-ride performance was much better. Ayana and Samura's vocals went together perfectly, and they actually felt like a complete group. Samura as main vocal, Ayana as lead vocal, Lexi being the visual, center and face of the group, and Emily serving as their main dancer. That lineup was perfect and Hybe fumbled. No hate to Sakura, but she is not adding anything to the point where they would have been better off as a trio. Even then, the group chemistry among all of them is weird and awkward, despite the fact that 3 of them have known each other for years and trained together during Dream Academy. All of the videos I have seen give off the vibe that they all just met 5 minutes ago. I would understand if that awkwardness was just with Sakura since they have known her for less time, but even the 3 Dream Academy members lack the chemistry or distinct personalities that would foster a strong parasocial fanbase. They have a terrible group name, a random 16-year-old grouped with 20-year-olds, a lack of technical skills, and a lack of chemistry. I am really confused about what Hypex Jeffen is planning for them because I do not see a lot of successful options. 5 riize is a perfect example that sometimes the fandom reflects the idols. The group recently had a member use essentially the Korean N-word and make colorist comments about himself. In the midst of him getting called out and eventually apologizing, his fans were making slave jokes, cotton-picking jokes, and throwing around slurs themselves. They acted basically like engines to point zero, if you remember the debacle of Heesung saying the N-word and the chaos that followed. Am I supposed to believe it is a coincidence that Unsok, who casually uses slurs, also happens to have a racist anti-black fanbase? This controversy will permanently leave a bad taste in my mouth. Even though he apologized, the fact that his fandom practically held a clan meeting on Weverse just because people rightfully so demanded an apology absolutely says something about him and riize as a whole. No one is going to convince me otherwise. They did not attract that specific type of fanbase for no reason, which is likely why Unsok felt so comfortable saying that in the first place and only apologized once he got dragged for it by black international fans. Anyways, that's the end of this video. Thank you for watching till the end. Goodbye.